Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about you're a very unkind person. Customer posts his own meltdown at a Doordash driver and it backfires in a huge way. So as you know, there are a lot of people that like to freak out about Doordash drivers online, and because of that, they end up on social media in some regard. Sometimes it's a way to get some sort of refund method. Sometimes it's just, hey, this is my experience about DoorDash, blah, blah, blah. In this particular case, the person on X ended up making this post about it, and it backfired so hard it was embarrassing. I guess it doesn't always work out the way people make it sound, huh? So with that said, we are talking about everything that is being said in this article, how it actually is for DoorDash, UberEats, and Grubhub drivers and customers, and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. A man's angry rant about a DoorDash driver backfired spectacularly after he shared it on social media, and folks had something to say about it. On July 2nd, 2025, ICM Pressure tweeted, "DoorDash driver was utterly incompetent, so I went off on her. I hate incompetence," along with screenshots showing his increasingly furious messages to the driver. Rather than earning sympathy, the tweet quickly became the center of public ridicule on X, formerly Twitter. I'm actually curious to see what some of these messages look like. Why are you having a hard time finding Vidara? There were a few closed off roads. I had to take a detour. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Are you back on track? Yes. What's your ETA? 850. What the fuck? That's like 20 minutes past scheduled delivery. Come on, this is unacceptable. I just started DoorDash today and I'm new to Vegas. I'm so sorry. You could take the tip back. I'm sorry. She is being unreasonable and micromanaging the crap out of her. Don't tell her to take the tip back. I will, and I will also file a complaint to DoorDash. Totally unacceptable. The map shows you barely moving. It shouldn't take this long. There's no traffic. Like, you're barely moving. What are you doing? I'm standing in front of Vidara. Black shirt, gray hat. Do better. I filed a formal complaint. Okay, I'm gonna need this guy or girl to Hakuna their tatas, because that was just ridiculous. I get it. They want their order as quickly as possible and they're hungry, but woof, man. I'm looking at somebody who was just trying to do their job, and I'm seeing every minute or so them trying to micromanage the crap out of them. His tirade gained traction for all the wrong reasons. The DoorDash screenshots revealed a pattern of escalating rage over what appeared to be a minor delivery issue. Before long, folks began calling him out for his overreaction and disrespect. Yeah, I am so glad that's the direction it ended up taking, because what normally happens is that they sympathize with the customer and then just start bashing the driver. This is literally evidence of the driver just trying to exist and do what they need to do. They just got there. A calm response highlighted the real issue. While many criticized him, one reply stood out. Ex-user Divya Ven offered a measured perspective in saying, "I also hate incompetence. I hate it when in the only place I have any control over it, myself. It is deeply incompetent to outsource a task and then throw a tantrum when it isn't done the way you would do it." You know, that comment is pretty interesting. And obviously the intentions of this person is literally just they just want their food. They hate incompetence, and as somebody who also hates incompetence, by the way, I 100% understand when somebody is frustrated when things aren't done the way they like it. But you did outsource it. You did say, "Hey, please do this for me," and paid for a service. If it's not the service you wanted, then that's what it is. But nevertheless. Now, granted, if you paid for a service and it was just outright they were 100% in the wrong, I would get the frustration. But they weren't really doing anything that was that notable here. Although now that I think about it, I'm going to be honest, this definitely made me really think about some of the things I ask other people to do, and they just don't follow through as quickly as I want them to. Despite the constructive tone, at ICM Pressure Double Down, he responded, huge fan of your account, but respectfully disagree on this one. The entire service economy operates on the premise that we pay money to workers to outsource various services/products. Mistakes happen, sure, but good service and basic competence are expected in exchange for us paying them. He continued, by this reasoning, do you think we have the right to complain about bad service at a restaurant simply because we can eat at home? Yeah, you see, this is where it starts to get a little shaky, because it's one thing if you're hiring somebody to do something else for you and they're not doing it to the same standard you would. So therefore, there's this loss in translation somewhere, but you're paying for a service. So I get why he's mad. It's just the micromanagement that he chose to take, the level of frustration that he took out on the driver is unacceptable. He has the right to be upset that his order is 20 minutes late, assuming he tipped and everything, blah, blah, blah. But paying for good service and basic competence is the bare minimum. If you're expecting above and beyond, if you tipped poorly, if there was something else that was happening during the event of this order, I would understand. I just don't think that's what happened here. His response did not win him any support. In fact, the reply triggered a new wave of criticism. Shortly after, hundreds of people on X piled on. Some accused him of lacking empathy, while others pointed out the irony of expecting flawless service while behaving rudely himself. Multiple people told him that he needed anger management classes. Others called him a walking red flag. I don't know if anger management classes are really the word here, if I'm being totally honest, because there are people that choose to look at him getting upset more than what was taking place. But what he's being upset about is just not part of the issue, in my opinion. Like, yeah, some things take place to where there are delays. I don't think you should have taken it out on the driver. She did her best. She's in a new area. She's a new driver. She did everything she could. You're the kind of guy to send a message after a message to someone you're interested in and get super angry when they don't respond immediately. You should look into anger management, said Oja VT. Wow, that's a way to put it. DoorDasher is completely new to the area and job. Seems very apologetic and sincere about her inexperience. Publicly humiliate her online for it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this wasn't her maliciously choosing to be a problem for you. She's a new driver in Vegas, a completely different area. She was apologetic and trying to be as sincere as possible. What exactly did you want from her otherwise? Even those who agreed that consumers have the right to expect decent service found his tone inappropriate. Many noted that service workers already deal with low wages and poor treatment. Public berating only makes things worse. That doesn't actually stop these people, though. You're not complaining or criticizing in any constructive manner, though. You're being impetuous, unreasonable, and essentially harassing somebody over an extremely minor thing. Wolf of Y'allist stated calmly, you don't know why your delivery was delayed. There could have been a multitude of reasons. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing if you're trying to help the person in this area, but that's not what's happening here. Yeah, I get how frustrating it is to deal with a new person, but you only get to being a veteran driver by starting off as a new person. There is only so much that is controllable here. One person summed up the sentiment best, saying, how someone treats those in the service industry will tell you a lot about their character. Remember that next time we talk about tips on this channel. Go on, get mad in the comments, I dare ya. This is my opinion. Worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. Look, this guy was 100% in the wrong for being as berating and frustrated as he was. I get why he's mad. Sometimes dealing with a brand new person is annoying in itself. Again, the only way they go from new to veteran is by going through the motions. And sometimes that means you being one of those motions. But at the same time, at least they tried. I don't think they did anything necessarily malicious here. They just did their job and it didn't work out as well as they thought. They were new to the area. There could have been many different reasons why there was a delay. It could have been something at the restaurant. That's possible too. Maybe they didn't tip the driver well enough. This does seem like the actions of a frustrated no-tip customer. And then when it didn't work out the way you wanted to, you flipped out on Twitter about it. Or X, really. I'm glad that this took such a positive light towards gig workers approach, though. I was under the impression that this would end up going the opposite direction. Like, they're gonna dogpile on the DoorDash driver simply for existing on the platform. So honestly, from a public perspective, this ended up working out for the driver. From the opposite perspective, being the DoorDash platform, I really hope she didn't get deactivated for that. I really hope that the complaint was just accepted and thrown into a bucket somewhere, because quite frankly, drivers shouldn't be taking the heat for customers like this. And I hope that she's new in the sense that she took a no-tip customer and now she'll know not to take no-tip customers because this is how they act. But we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.